Now let's just for a moment drop back to Jeremiah 30, verse 4. And these are the words that Yahweh spoke concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus says Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear and not of peace. Ask now and see whether a man does travail with child. Why do I see every man with his hands on his loins? Oh, my stomach. They're so terrified that they're about to regurgitate their food, whatever's down there. And if it's just liver bile. They're so terrified at what they're seeing. Have you ever seen people terrified like that? Yes, of course. Maybe you've been one of them. Ask now and see whether a man does travail with child. Why do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail? And all faces are turned into paleness. They're so terrified that their faces are all white, and they're devoid of blood. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. It shall come to pass in that day, says Yahweh, that I will break his yoke from off your neck. You see an Israelite rescue here, like Israel being rescued and liberated out of Egyptian bondage. And will burst your bonds, and strangers shall no more make him their bondman. But they shall serve Yahweh their Elohim and David their king, whom I will raise up to them. Therefore fear not, O Jacob, my servant, says Yahweh, neither be dismayed, O Israel. For lo, I will save you from afar. Yes, I'll bring your seed from the land of their captivity. Jacob shall return and shall be quiet and at ease, and no one shall make him afraid. For I am with you, says Yahweh, to save you. For I will make a full end of all the nations where I have scattered you. There's going to be widespread judgment. Psalm 91 describes you alone spared in the midst of 11,000 corpses, dead people. Think about it. But it's up to us to merit that salvation. I am with you, says Yahweh, to save you. For I will make a full end of the nations where I have scattered you. But I will not make a full end of you. But I will correct you in measure, and will in no wise leave you unpunished. Well, we can drop down then to Jeremiah 31. At that time, that's in the latter days when we understand this prophecy, says Yahweh, will I be the Elohim of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. In this manner, says Yahweh, the people that were left of the sword found favor in the wilderness, even Israel. When I went to cause him to rest, Yahweh appeared to me of old, saying, yes, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Yahweh still loves his people, Israel. He chose our forefathers, but he wants us to make the necessary changes and come away from this evil worldly system that Satan has corrupted down to the very last individual almost. Saying, yes, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore, with loving kindness have I drawn you. Again will I build you, and you shall be built, O Virgin of Israel. Again shall you be adorned with your tabrets, and shall go forth in the dances of them that make merry. Again shall you plant vineyards upon the mountains of Samaria. The planters shall plant, and shall enjoy the fruit of it. For there shall be a day that the watchmen upon the hills of Ephraim shall cry, arise, let us go up to Zion, to Yahweh our Elohim. That's the feast day announcement. You can also see the announcement in Zechariah 14:16 and other places. So that they're announcing the feast days. Time to go to the feast days. Arise and let's go to Zion, to Jerusalem, and worship Yahweh. For thus says Yahweh, sing with gladness for Jacob and shout for the chief of the nations. Publish and praise and say, Yahweh, save your people, the remnant of Israel. What remnant is this? This is the one that's described in Isaiah chapter 10. And it shall come to pass, in verse 20, it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and they that have escaped to the house of Jacob shall no more again lean upon them that struck them, but shall lean upon Yahweh, the Holy One of truth. A remnant shall return. That's a prophecy. A remnant shall return, even, and that's the name of Isaiah's son. You see in Isaiah chapter 7, verse 3. Then Yahweh said to Isaiah, go forth and 9, meet Ahaz, you and She'er Yeshuv. And the word She'er Yeshuv means the remnant shall return. And so Isaiah had to name his son She'er Yeshuv, the remnant shall return, so that he's reminded all the time that this is going to happen. And verse 21 here, a remnant shall return, She'er Yeshuv, even the remnant of Jacob to the mighty El, for though your people Israel be as the sand of the sea. You can see that prophesied in Hosea 1:10. Only a remnant of them shall return. There won't be huge numbers. A destruction is determined, overflowing with righteousness for a full end, and that determined will the sovereign Yahweh of hosts make in the midst of the earth. So who is the remnant that shall return? Well, we have it here in Revelation 12:17 and 14:12. Revelation 12:17. The dragon became exceedingly angry with the woman. The woman is religion, the Israelite religion, and went away to make war with the remnant of her seed. We are the remnant of the seed of Israel. We're the ones that have returned to Yahweh, that keep the commandments of Yahweh and hold the testimony of Yahshua. And I won't say more than that because I've already hammered that as far as I can go. Maybe I can go further with it, but that'll be for another sermon. And 14:12, here is the patience of the saints who patiently wait for their salvation. They that keep the commandments of Yahweh and the faith of Yahshua. So who is keeping the commandments of Yahweh? Who has the faith of Yahshua? So now we see the remnant here in Jeremiah 31. And I'll bring them forth from the north country and gather them from the utmost parts of the earth. With them the blind and the lame. We discussed that in Isaiah 35. The woman with child and her that travails with child, together a great company shall they return here. They shall come with weeping and with supplications, weeping and prayers will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by rivers of waters in a straight way in which they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Israel. I am an Av to Israel. And Ephraim is my firstborn. Hear the word of Yahweh, O you nations, and declare it in the isles afar off. And say, he that scattered Israel will gather him and keep him as a shepherd does his flock. For Yahweh has ransomed, and the word padah, has ransomed Jacob and redeemed Gaal, him from the hand of him that was stronger than he. They shall come and sing in the height of Zion, and shall flow with the goodness of Yahweh to the grain Yahweh's going to give us food again. And to the new wine and to the oil and to the young of the flock. Right now they're dedicating the grain and the oil and everything else, the fruits of their labors, to Baal, L-O-R-D. They're praising L-O-R-D. But we bring our fruits of our labors to Yahweh. Their souls shall be as a watered garden, and they shall not sorrow any more at all. Then shall the virgin rejoice in the dance. You want to see that happening? Psalm 68. Verse 24. They have seen your goings, O Elohim, even the goings of my Elohim, my King, into the sanctuary. The singers went before, the musicians followed after. And in the middle of the damsels, playing with timbrels, bless Yahweh in the congregation, even Yahweh, you that are of the fountain of Israel. So this is a Feast of Tabernacles observance that's going to be just tremendous. And they shall come and sing in the heights of Zion and flow to the goodness of Yahweh. You can read Micah 4, verses 1 to 5. Maybe we should just pause and do that. I'm quickly running out of time. Micah 4. But in the latter days it shall come to pass that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and the people shall flow to it. I want you to notice the mountain of Yahweh's house. And they shall say, come, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the Elohim of Jacob. He will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. Then he'll judge among the peoples, and he'll condemn war. They'll beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Neither shall they learn war anymore. That's all gone. But they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree, and none shall make them afraid. For the mouth of Yahweh has spoken it. For all the people walk every one in the name of his Elohim, his mighty one. But we will walk in the name of Yahweh, our Elohim, forever and ever. Now let's continue back here in Jeremiah 31. And let's drop down to 13. Then shall the virgin rejoice in the dance, and the young men and the old together, and I will turn their mourning into joy. Are you listening? The mourning will turn into joy, and comfort them, and make them rejoice from their sorrow. And I will satiate the soul of the priests with the fatness, and my people shall be satiated with the goodness, says Yahweh. In this manner, says Yahweh, a voice is heard in Ramah. That's the town of Samuel. Ramah. Lamentation and bitter weeping. Rachel, weeping for her children. When I read this yesterday, I had a breakdown in tears, and I don't cry easy. I read this. Rachel weeping for her children. Rachel, the mother of Joseph. The mother of Benjamin, weeping for her children, quoted in Matthew 2:18, when they went to infanticide King Herod. Rachel weeping for her children. She refuses to be comforted for her children because they are not. Where are they? We have a few here probably in the audience this morning, but where are the rest of them? Out doing their own thing. And this is what crushed me yesterday. And then I read the next verse, and that really brought me down. In this manner, says Yahweh, refrain your voice from weeping and your eyes from tears, for their work shall be rewarded.